Hello, hello, hello. Still haven't figured out the best decibel level for the music. Going to make sure my AC isn't going to turn on and get started. My preview is really off. All right, well, my light is blinking. I don't know why that is. Sure my mic is turned all the way up. Hopefully the music is at an acceptable level. Welcome to the stream. We are continuing our Trident R1 build. This is the FORMBOT kit. We will be eventually updating it to go to an R2, but their entire guide is kind of set up to be an R1. Oh, see Steve in the chat. 26 months. Thank you very much. I don't know if my my notifications are popping up for memberships. Should be, but I didn't see one. Yeah, so Steve and the Voron team have officially put out and released the revision 2. I have already started printing a few of the parts. I've got a couple bins. Oh, it did pop up in the corner. Okay, great. I try to look at camera more, but then I can't see what's happening on the stream. Maybe I need to get like a display near my TV. I think it's more personable when you look at the camera, and I notice I don't a lot, so I'm trying to get better at that. But how's the audio sounding? Oh, I can put that up. Yes. But I'm not getting all of your chats over here in my chat ninja. Sounds fine. My light, my expensive Elgato light keeps blinking on and off, and I don't really know why. So we're gonna have to deal with that. But yes, Steve, congratulations for getting the revision fully out. Looks like a lot of people are excited about it. All the cool changes, mostly in the XY gantry, some of the Z gantry stuff, and a lot of it seems to be very helpful for people looking to do index or other tool changers. So we will be updating to that eventually. I want to build the kit kind of as is, as they've spec'd, and then I will do the upgrade process probably in another set of streams. So today we're going to be picking up pretty much where we left off. I thought I was going to get through the tool head in the previous stream, and tap took me quite a bit longer than I expected, but we're going to do the tool head. I've got a Nomi Stealthburner shroud printed out. It's got the 2-color stuff there. So we're going to put a Nomi in there. Let me go ahead and switch over to that top cam. Stay with that for a little while. Yeah, for some reason, is it because this is top chat, live chat? I still don't understand YouTube's like chat filtering stuff. Let me see if I do test now, if that pops up in my chat ninja. For whatever reason, it's not showing your guys' chat in chat ninja, so I'm not able to put them up. But that is something to figure out later. But yes, so this is kind of all the stuff spread out. I think I have mostly everything on here. As I mentioned, we've got a Big Tree Technomi. We're gonna throw in the tool head. I also have this from, I think the company is Lineo, who does a lot of cable shrouds and harnesses. And I picked this up from KB3D. So this is the barf version of the Stealthburner. So it's got what is that, 8 RGB LEDs instead of the single, and it comes with a custom, they actually have this pre-printed for you and applied, but it has a carrier for you. And the only thing I think is I need to repin these DuPonts because they're not in the right order. I did dry fit kind of everything. Here's the one that comes stock in the kit. It's just 3 typical NeoPixels. Welcome, Shrimp Father. Anything else? We are not going to use the V6 that they provided. It's a very interesting hot end. I don't understand why they went with this collar type mount, but it does seem to be an all metal hot end. But I don't know, I feel like there's equally inexpensive options that they could have gone with. Instead, we are going to go with a Voron Revo. I have taken the stock 40 watt off and replaced it with a 60 watt. And I have also lengthened the heater core wire because it was too short to make it. Actually, thanks to Steve for chiming in on that. But I have a bunch of old hot ends that have pretty nice thick, I think they're 20 or 18 gauge wire, and they're with this has this braided cloth on the outside, and I use that to extend it. So we should be able to reach. It might actually be a little long now, but I'll take care of that when we get there. And then eventually we're gonna pop in this E3D Obsidian. I hope this is a 0.4, should be a 0.4 nozzle to get started with, just so we can print some abrasives and just not have to worry about swapping it out. So as I mentioned, I've dry fitted quite a bit. I've gone ahead and put on our jumpers for the fan spots. I think the cooler fan and the extruder fan actually share one of these, and then this one is for the 4-pin, which we're not going to use. But I have a lot of documentation up. I have like 18 tabs of all the docs that we are going to be going through. I'm trying to think of anything else I prepared off stream. I haven't prepared the fan. I need to do that. I guess we'll do that in a little bit. And I've got some grease out so we can grease the, is it BMG internals? And yeah, I guess we can start to get into it. We are around here in the instructions in the Trident manual, page 135 to 137. So we're switching over we switched over to the Tap manual, then back to the Trident manual, and then we're gonna get into Stealthburner. And I get the feeling we're gonna be hopping back and forth between the Stealthburner and the EBB or SB 2209 quite a bit. This is going to be the first kind of full-blown Stealthburner I've built. I have one on my Tivo Tornado that is a Bowden setup with the Mobius M4, I think, extruder. So this would be kind of a nice change of pace to actually be using it with Clockwork 2. So let's get into it. We need to find the Stealthburner manual. I should have all the parts here. I've already done all of the heat set inserts. We don't have to worry about that chain. And I already started kind of dry fitting this just so I didn't lose any of the parts. So switch back to that guy, and then we'll do side camera as the other camera. How's it going, Steve and Shrimp Father? How are you guys doing this week? So I guess the first step is to squeeze these together. And then the screw will screw into that heatset insert to provide some strength, I presume. Is this a 2.5? Yes. Chilling after release, trying to get moving on some projects though. Yeah. What was next on your Google Sheet? Do you mean on stream projects or off stream projects? Or both? All the projects. If I recall correctly, you and Daniel have been trying to get coordinated for the LDL kit for that RC truck. That thing looks huge and pretty awesome. I have a slight gap in the print right about there that I'm not liking. But it's about squeezed together. Maybe there was a little bit of warping. It looks tight right there and tight across here, but then there's just that tiny gap. Oh, you're gonna do the Subaru instead. Gotcha. It seems like LDO just has a new kit coming out like every 30 seconds, and I get a lot of FOMO. That step is done. Yeah, I don't know what is up with my chat ninja. It is not updating when you guys chat, and I don't understand why. Fresh. See if it works later. All right, that was a M3x16 socket head that I had already pre-pulled out. We need our BMG internals next. Our floating gear. Shaft. Let's just get them all out. Let's see how long. I had this nice kind of mise en place set up to try to keep track of everything. And it's of course going to be all messed up pretty soon. BMG IDER assembly. Lubricate the bearings. A lubrication film is required to ensure smooth operation. We want a light grease, so I was going to use the... What is the brand called? I've got it in a syringe, but it is... Oh, did I take that upstairs? The synthetic lubricant, like White Lightning. Get a little bit of that inside of each of these. Put some on the outside after we get them on there. It is kind of cool that a lot of these parts are shared between Clockwork and the Mobius extruder. So even though I haven't built a Clockwork 2, I've built a couple of the Mobius to put on my old Creality machines. Am I saying that? Is it the Mobius? The M4. And the process is, pretty familiar. I guess it's also the same, pretty similar for the V0 as well. I want to put a little bit more on the outside of this. And I should have brought over a paper towel. And find a way to slip it through. Clean up as much of the excess as I can. It feels pretty smooth there. Let me get a paper towel. Ill prepared for the stream. The Subaru should be a fun build though. Did you get rid of your Subaru in order to get the new Ford truck? Or did you keep it? What else? We need to plop that in, I guess. There's the recess for the thicker part, and it won't go in any other way. One side, the other. Fringe spins pretty well and free. That is done. I kind of already had this set up. So this will go this way. Get that started. Just tighten it enough to retain it. We need to place our bearings. My idea for that is to use this guy to guide it in. They want us to do this plate first. So just using the actual bearing shaft to place it in, nice and flush. Fully seat the bearing into the plastic, apply even pressure to insert it, avoid pressing on the inner race or ring of the bearing. If it is too tight, the printed parts are likely over extruded. Spins pretty good. I don't think any sanding is going to be required for this. Next step should be placing this guy in here. Nice chunky. Oh, something thicker than that. What did I use last time? Make sure that that is nice and flush. Oh, it is my birthday today, so this is, well, for another hour and a half-ish on the East Coast at least. So yeah, birthday stream. I can put this away. Let's make an effort to kind of keep our workspace clean today. That's the goal. Thank you. Oh, wait, yeah, chats are popping up now. I don't know what it was. I just needed to refresh, I guess. Thanks, Steve. June 16th, a Gemini. I don't know if the technically the stars have changed, right? Or the signs have changed because the Earth's tilt and things like that. I don't really follow astronomy or astrology. Which one is it? I had to step away a bit ago if you had any questions. Oh, I asked if you kept your Subaru when you got your new truck. Because you had a STI, if I recall correctly. And then we need to put in a M3x6 flathead, which I pulled one of those out in preparation. Our anti-squish piece. And that screws into a heat set in this, which is nice. Nope, I actually sold my STI to Hector from Fabrica. Okay. And he's since sold it to someone else. Bringing other people joy. Did you have any problems with it? I've heard a lot of people mention having issues with STIs. Specific failures. All cars kind of have that. I drive a GTI and it has, what is it, the water pump that leaks because it's plastic. The oil drain pan leaks because it's plastic. No, it was a great car. Gotcha. I watch an Australian YouTube channel called Mighty Car Mods, and they've done a lot of STI builds. Mine was 2019, so right after they fixed some of the internal engine flaws. Was that, did you know that at the time? Or did it kind of, was it kind of happenstance? I guess I'll just throw this in there to keep them together. I do think this is going to end up being a little long now. I took measurements. I think they said it was supposed to be like 160 millimeters. Anti-squish. Adding a small amount of medium strength thread locker to this flat screw will keep it from loosening over time. This is all pre-built for us. It's got a integrated gear and hobbed part, like the filament path feeder, so we don't have to worry about setting this at the right distance or getting the D shaft correctly. Yep, I was aware that's the very reason you bought it. Very smart. Hey Renovic, welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining in. Don't have to worry about using any thread locker there. Was there a note for that? No, there should be an annotation here that we don't have to worry about it for the kit. And then we can start to pull everything together. This guy goes there. This should fit in that way. And then there's two locating pieces, one on the top, kind of registration that helps everything fit together. I was kind of strategic with how I chose to do these colors. It should come together and the Stealthburner should be like a blue, yellow, blue sandwich at the end, hopefully. That's L plan. M3 by 5, well, M3 by 25. Do not over tighten. I don't think I have any 25s out. Those are 40s, way too long. M3 by 25. Socket head. Renovic, how is the printer design going? Are you prototyping yet and actually getting parts made? Into the back. Bottom-ish right. I did pre-sand or file down all of the mating surfaces on this guy, so everything should fit together pretty nicely. Just trying to tighten it so it gives some resistance. Still waiting on JLC, but hopefully I'll order it soon. Gotcha. Are they doing like estimates for CNC parts? And then looks like our filament path is pretty good there. Where do I have a piece of filament? Since I was spreading the build across 3 different V0s, I actually cut off just a long strand of this yellow filament so that one of them could run off, one of the printers could run off of it. Yeah, and that aligns pretty well. You guys can see. Without having to, you know, undo the set screw and reposition it. So, yeah, these integrated extruder gears are pretty nice. Takes some of the complexity and possible failure point. That doesn't look good though. There's a gap here. Why is that? Have I over tightened? I think I over tightened, or they weren't seated quite well enough. Oh, got some finger resistance there. Yeah, when I tighten this guy down, it kind of starts pulling that away. Can you see that? So I'm going to loosen it until it's not doing that. But yeah, I'll be definitely interested in your progress, Renovik. I really like the idea of kind of designing something from relatively scratch. Insert a piece of filament. We've done that. Check for clearance. Clearance. That's on the motor plate side or on the, yeah. It's not protruding through at all on that side, which I would expect since it's kind of custom made for this. We can take our tension arm assembly and stick it in this way. Make sure that that's sitting flush. And another M3 by 25. Steve, I've been working to get my camera slider working again. If you recall, or if anybody recalls, when I first started streaming, I had my main camera. It would track back and forth just to add a little bit of visual variety, I guess. And the automated motorized am I doing this correctly? Which hole? This one. I would think that that's a pass-through fit, but I'm having to tighten Possibly a little bit of over extrusion. A sort of hand clutch technique with this driver. Sort of my only issue with it. It's really strong. I like the speed control, but if it had a clutch, it'd be clutch, so to speak. So I tend to hold it, and then when it starts to tighten up, I hold my hand loosely and let it turn my hand instead of cracking the part, and then finish with my hand. Try not to tighten anything such that we end up creating interference. Kind of cool how you can see the gears sandwiched together. Again, this is my first Clockwork 2. This is the latch. The crescent side over here. Another M3 by 25. In the innermost. Do we need to have this out while we do it? Looks like it. And this one does pass through, but the other one didn't. I have the same one. I don't have the bits for smaller sizes. The ones that came with it. Just for tightening M5 and M6 bolts. I like it for long stuff. I picked up these, which are essentially exactly what ends up going, not exactly, but they're the same bits that are in the Fabrico and other RC type drivers, but they have the hex end on them, so you can stick them into anything. Nice little Amazon pickup. Hand tighten that. Oh, it's this one. That feels, oh, it was latched onto a part it's supposed to latch onto. That's a little hard to get clamped down. I imagine it'll start to give a little bit in time. My tool's rolling all over the place. What is next? Tension knob. Turning the knob screw clockwise will increase the tension and grip the filament. Too much tension results in print issues. Let me make this bigger so I don't have to lean in so much. What I've seen people do in the past is while they're doing their tuning of the filament, they'll kind of hold their finger and resist it and tighten the tensioner until it kind of causes it to slip a little bit and then go either way. You don't want it too tight and you don't want it too loose that it slips. I don't know if that's the best way to do it. Do you guys know what I mean? So like the filament's in there, I'm holding it. It's able to pull through my fingers and I tension it until, or the guy I saw tensions it until it just kind of barely is able to pull through his fingers and not slip. Anti-squish. Softer and flexible materials will deform and extrude poorly. Has this set screw to set the minimum distance between the driver, limiting the squish, and to prevent gears from meshing too tightly and binding up the extruder. I do have that foaming TPU from... Oh, and there's a little witness hole there. I just noticed that. To be able to tighten it. My bits fit. Not these, but these should. Yeah, that's nice. So I'll adjust that once I start printing some TPU. I have it all the way tightened now, and then I'll, I guess, maybe back it off. All right, we've got our Moon's extruder motor next. The serial number on there that I need to... Oh, it's in the, they actually have docs for this. I forget, they have a GitHub, so I can use that if I use TMC Auto Tune. M3 by 30, maybe we're done with the 25s, maybe not. To go through here on this side, it passes through really nicely. Do they want... See, do they have this called out in this guy, which directions the motor cables need to face? Yes. On top, it needs to be able to 180 around. This cable looks longer than the one in their example, but it needs to end up right here. So I would think I don't want it this way. That's not going to work out. Okay, back to Stealthburner. This is kind of our pivot or hinge. And oh, okay, there's a slot in there to be able to have adjust the meshing. So that's going to be a much smaller screw. It's a M3 by 8, which we have just a metric ton of. Okay, there's some notes coming up I need to be aware of. Makes you wonder where all these like little pass-throughs and stuff are. How many iterations it took to figure that out. Is that not going to be enough to make it all the way around? Let's see if there is anything in the build notes. Oh, they have pictures somewhere. one more build note PDF that has a picture of the Stealthburner. Instruction. Do I already have that and downloaded? Struct. No. Download and open. Okay, so no, they have this facing up. I guess it won't be long enough to make it around. But basically the opposite of how I have it. I can zoom in a bit while I'm working on some specific stuff. Keep it in camera. Trying to do a better job than Pooch in Steve's streams. Those were entertaining streams though. So we want it up and the label down. The long boy back. The short boy back. Is there a good way to get and I need it loose enough that I can set the meshing. Okay, so if I open that up, oh no, I can access it here. Again, it makes you wonder, was that always exposed in every single design? So we've got no play as it is. Back it off completely. And we have a lot of play. So somewhere in between there. I can just hear a tiny bit of backlash at that point. If I move it this way, it's gone. If I move it that way, it's really big. So I don't know if that comes up on camera whatsoever. It feels good to me. Back to Stealthburner. The gear should have slight play and should not be fully tight against the pinion. Adjust the motor until you have faint play. I would call what I have faint play. We're going to tighten this guy down. And double check that faint play. Yep, still there. Camera's not getting the best angle of any of the action. Just the parts on the table. Yeah, that was M3x8. It's long, but like in Stealthburner, I assume it's long for a reason. Mini Stealthburner. Access hole. Skip for now. We'll install the anchor later. We have special anchors for CANBus later. So far, it seems like FORMBOT has pretty good docs in terms of making sure that you have all the right printed parts. They have a special folder with all of the parts specific for their stuff. Open the latch. And we need an M3x16 for the cable cover. Put those away. Workspace is staying relatively clean. I think I asked this before, but are you folks in chat more put the tool away every single time you finish using it, or leave it out and then get frustrated when you end up having every tool everywhere except for where you need it? M3x16. You don't need to fix the cable cover down with the M3x6. Now you will need to access this later. Okay, we'll leave that off. My room is a mess, the second one. I have little spurts where I'll go around and reorganize everything, pick up. I'm definitely not the most generally organized person. I wouldn't say I'm dirty, but yeah, I'm a little disorganized as a default state, and then I have to put like concerted effort into making sure that I clean up everything. So that's why organizing stuff is really, really helpful for me and almost therapeutic. We won't put this on because we have so much to do, I guess, with the can later on. All hot ends are mounted in a similar pattern and pretty self-explanatory. Your hot end mount will look different. We need the cables to come out of that side. Finesse around these corners and go up. Oh, I also put a JST on here. It was a bit of a to-do, I'll say. Basically, it was hard to get the, what are these, pH crimps around the jacket. What I ended up doing was dripping a little bit of CA glue onto here so that when I cut them down, it wouldn't strand as much, so I could get them cut down. I did crimp to the jacket. I'm not sure both of those have held, but the crimps feel good. They passed the tug test. I can't remember where I saw someone noting that when you're having trouble with these woven kind of insulators, that it's hard. You can add a drop of CA glue. Burning them, like using an open flame, it'll shorten them and get rid of the strands, but it won't bind it together. Like if there's an established organization system, I'll keep the in place, like your old robotics team. But my room doesn't have places for tools, so gotcha. Yeah, when you have a place for everything, you can put everything in its place, but when you don't, it can be a bit chaotic. We've already done those. I've noticed all the Voron Revos I have, the strain relief goes much further out than in the picture. I dry fit this with the other one on, the 40 watt that I didn't extend. Bend the strain relief. What do I have to do that? Screwdriver. I'm gonna coax it up in the direction I want a little bit. And sandwich it. Three by 16s. Again, I do sort of wish I had something like Modbot's V0 hardware organizer for this. Just going in and out of bags constantly is not my preferred method. And I assume we're going to screw the hot end in. M3 by 8s. Tighten and our cross pattern, which probably doesn't matter for half the things I do it on, but feels good. Sanjay. Logo on there. And we need PTFE. Should stick out exactly 11 millimeters over the surface of the printed part. They give us quite a bit of 2 millimeter diameter, inner diameter PTFE, like way more. I dry fitted it, Steve, and it did reach. I dry fitted it. If we get this close to where it's gonna be, what I had to do was plug the thermistor in to the board and then wrap the board to the right spot. So the board will end up going in here, right? I think it's just long enough. Possibly famous last words. To just fit into there. I don't think that's aligned correctly. We will see. They want you to use the 4-pin, what is it, PT1000? which is much longer, but that needs to go into this port. If it's not long enough, I will extend it, possibly off stream. I don't think we're going to be getting to printing anytime soon. I'm going to start out with this PTFE tube. I have Capricorn that I typically use. It is fairly squarely cut. Say that 3 times fast. And again, unfortunately, this ruler doesn't sit flush at 0, which I don't understand why they would do that. And we need 11 millimeters. And we're going to cut off all of the mark. Hypermotive Racing, welcome. Oh. I need to print out Steve's jig for cutting PTFE tube. I've got this stupid thing which gets stuck in the failed print that I did to hold it, but it works. Which side is the mark on? So the problem with this is that it is hard to squarely cut it. We want to, I said the mark is not going to be included in the length. I'll try to hold it square while I cut it down. And that looks pretty square to me. Here's just 410 wheel horsepower. You work at a performance shop, Hypermotive? Do you use any 3D printing at all at your performance shop? I'd be interested in hearing about that. I've got this little chamfer tool. I'm not sure if it's the same one Steve has, but we are going to chamfer out the end just to make sure filament will guide into it a little bit easier. I like this one because it has that kind of like scalloped cutting edge to it, and it does a really good job of getting into the inside of it and not just kind of smushing it down, which I've had problems with others. You do 3D printing? Do you have any like posts anywhere that kind of shows stuff on Instagram? Or I've done a lot of 3D printed mock-ups for CNC. A guy I print stuff for makes CNC. I guess in a MX5 or Miata, there's a little On all of the vents, there's a little ring that goes on it, and apparently they crack and break when they're out of plastic, so he made CNC versions of them. And I've mocked up a whole bunch and printed out a whole bunch of those for him. And then he does delete panels inside of MX5s and Miatas, and I printed a lot of those out. You've got a Formlabs 4L, a Fuse 1, that's really cool. EOS, SLS, H2D, Max 4, FT6. Have you done any custom printers? Or are they kind of purely tools for you? I don't think I realized you had tuned the SDI all that much, Steve. Okay, PTFE tube is in. It should still be 11 millimeters. Proud. Just about. That might not be the squares cut. The FT6 is custom. What's next? The shroud. So these guys can kind of go up. We will probably want to swap over. Well, we're gonna have a mix. We're gonna do some Nomi stuff to start out with, because we have to get this in. So the Nomi shroud's a little bit different. I've already cut all of the bridges out when I dry fit stuff, but for the Nomi, we need to drop these 2 wires. There's a small PHJST, and there's a drop through for the DuPont connectors to go down. They'll eventually come back up and behind the fan. There's a little recess for the USB port to drop into. They have OTA updates, firmware updates on this now, which is nice. You don't have to pull it out. And then they have this special piece, which I still have some supports on, to retain the Nomi in place, which is a little hard to get in. But I already took the plastic off. It came off when I was dry fitting stuff. Again, you can see I'm probably going to end up reprinting this shroud, but the yellow is just a little bit more translucent than I would have liked. I did 2 layers in this manual layer swap, but it's good enough for now. We've got a Fallout type vault gear on the front around the Voron logo. Oh yeah, you built it in October, well, the following July, then drove almost 5 years before selling it. I haven't done much to my GTI. Every single time I go to anywhere with any car guys, I pull up and they automatically ask me if I have, what is it? The bypass valve, the turbo inlet, all the stage 1 stuff, or a tune. Just about done paying it off, so I'll probably maybe start doing some stuff then. Okay, now that we have that guy in, I think we can start on this. I also have these SLA printed resin carrier and diffuser. Sorry, this is the carrier, which we don't need. And then the idea behind the diffuser is just that it will let a lot of light pass through. I can't get it back out, but typically this would be black and that would be the diffuser, but I can't remember where I got this. It came with some kit somewhere. I need to drop that in and it goes in a, is this symmetrical? Maybe not. Yeah, there's a sharp corner and a blunted corner. Where do they show? Or is that not next? The sharp corner faces up, the blunted corner faces down. I don't know if you can see that, but it sits in there and hopefully will be flush enough that this guy will pass through. Well, I know it'll pass through. I did a dry fit, but so this has that custom carrier on it, the rainbow barf harness from Lineo. We're just gonna press that guy in there. Hopefully without losing any of those tiny RGB LEDs. I think it just needs to sit flush so that the fan will mount. No, I don't get away from the East Coast stuff. We do all kinds of off-road stuff now as well. Jeeps, Raptors, Broncos, Toyotas coming soon. Voron soon or... Okay, so this will go up there. And I need to repin that to whatever order it needs. This guy will slide into here. These are just regular NeoPixels. And there. They actually do a little bit of kind of like potting on there to isolate and hopefully maybe add a little strain relief, which is kind of nice. The angle of the dangle is making it a little hard to fit in. There we go. And we need to manage cables. Get everything stuffed down. Both sides and then handle the excess somewhere. I'm guessing evenly across both sides. It's the piddly little wires. Hey, Feder. Been fun chatting, but the job bedtime is calling. Take care. Thanks for hopping in the chat, Hypermotive. Catch you around. Thank you for the birthday wishes, Feder. How's it going? I saw that you have the Makera, is that how you say it? Makera CNC stream scheduled for tomorrow. I definitely want to check that out. Thanks, Renovic. Been spending the whole day telling everybody that I'm 42, usually to some level of disbelief. Do you recognize I look a bit young? Not being able to grow facial hair probably doesn't help. Yes, going in blind, you don't know a single thing about CNC. That should be cool though. I think their goal is to kind of make it approachable for people like you. Trying to get our cable management reasonably good looking. I've never even opened the cam module in Fusion. My buddy had a Shapeoko that I played with using easel a tiny bit, like I cut some custom foam inserts with it once. And maybe some balsa wood, but yeah, I'm pretty much in the same boat as you are when it comes to CNC. Would definitely love to have one. I'm trying to see how we're gonna fit all of these cables down here and not interfere with the fan. Kind of becoming my main worry. Got a little channel, and we just need enough for the 4010 fan. Chef just send it to me. Looking forward to the Makera stream. Did I say Makera or did I say something else? Okay, so now we're gonna have to start looking at the EBB docs a little bit. And go back this way. They have the outlet of the fan up and to the left. We will do the same. And try to get all of these cables pressed into the cable management channel. Without hurting any wires. Do you have any specific plans of stuff you want to make with it, Better? Projects? I'm sure they'll have some like kind of getting started stuff. Maybe acrylic and wood, eventually some aluminum. I don't know if it's because of the Nomi wires, but it's definitely proving a little bit difficult to get all of these cables pressed in. Wires, rather. Like, especially for these two joined together, you have to get them slotted in sideways, but then you want them to sit flat to not be able to come out again. Get in your home. Okay. Don't want these to get pinched. Man, I want it, I just don't know anything about it. Titanium alloy benchy, that'd be dope. I think there are a decent amount of easy but useful parts to be made on those hobby CNCs. Trident Z motor mounts would be cool. Simple part that you can cam. I'd love to make a metal version of the carriage for my Micron tool changer. I designed a spacer for the rear of my Subaru. Hey, another Subaru guy. Do you have an STI or do you have like a Legacy? I can't remember. There's a few things I want to try, I just don't know how. Yeah. Steve was just talking about the STI that he sold before he got his new truck. And now we need to crack open this motor. Well, that went flying to be stepped on later. Safety squints. See if I have to go in the garage and Dremel this or if I can get it. I'm surprised nobody started making these already without the mount. Oh, that's gonna get stepped on again. I have a dad wagon that'll back. Okay, gotcha. I should have done this off stream. I think I have a sanding wheel on my Dremel out in the garage, so I might run out there. I think I'm missing the overhead camera sometimes. All these parts are just flying around. Yes, I'm going to go out into the garage and Dremel the excess away. And we're back. The Dremel made pretty quick work of it. It probably melted more than it actually sanded away. I probably could have used like the Dremel cutting wheel to get it pretty good in the first place as I throw it on the ground. I kind of know the steps, hopefully, for this part. If I've cut away enough, maybe I need this tab to be gone. Oh, there we go. That needs to come out here, and we are mounting this with this over to the left. Stealthburner is the only tool head I know that uses 5015s. A lot of the older ones I used to use, like there was the Pet Spang and the Bullseye, used 5015s. Other ones use 4010s, yeah. Like the little laptop blower fans. I'm doing Legacy H rear subframe spacer delete, okay. Legacy rear upper arms, OEM WRX struts. And springs, STI rear sway. Nice. Can't leave anything alone. No, it just looks too tempting. And a color matched Thule motion roof box. That's nice. Do you do much of the work yourself, or do you take most of it to a shop? These need to be M3x10s, and those actually come. That's kind of nice. The whole EBB SB kit comes with M4 or M3x10 button heads, which I had pulled out of the kit of the bag when I dry fit everything together, but these are like the last 4, so I can stuff these back. You do everything yourself? That's cool. I wish I had like one of those little scissor lifts for the garage. I hate jacking up stuff or going up on ramps. It's never quite enough room. I do a lot more stuff if I could. Great thing about the GTI is that I can do the oil with an oil extractor through the dipstick inlet, and the oil filters on top, so I don't have to get under the car to change oil, which is kind of nice. Brake pads are relatively easy, but I haven't done any performance stuff. This fan will go up. Oh, I need to actually attach this guy. There are a lot of mods for the Mark 7. Screwing into plastic here, so having a lot of threads to hang on is nice. I think we just want those to sit flush. The bottom fan goes to the bottom. They're not really labeled. Top fan will sort of wrap this way and go in directly next to it. We do need to pay attention to plus and minus. I have it backwards. Minus on top. Plus on the bottom. Swap that around. Yeah, no keying to DuPont connectors. Another reason I don't love them. At least JSTs, if you have them the right way, you can't put them on backwards. We have set 24 volts or VN. We can skip the PWM fan and plug in our RGB, which is not the right order. They've got signal in the middle, ground on the bottom, power on top. So we need to swap out 2 of these. The green is the signal. Well, I bent that back a little bit further than I had intended. Well, my monitor just turned off. Hopefully the stream is still going good. 0 drop frames. My monitors are flickering. I don't know if my video card is just freaking out right now. Hopefully it's back. Is the stream doing okay? For some reason, getting these wires out is proving difficult. No impact on the stream so far. Thank you. Wonder if I can push it out with pin. No, it just slides in there. I've never had so much issue getting a DuPont pin out of the housing. And I don't want to rip or break anything. We can hear the device disconnect sounds, but nothing showing. Sorry about that. That'd be a good way to troll your viewers on stream, is just have like Discord and Windows USB chimes going off. I wouldn't do that on purpose, but I can't get this connector out, or this crimp out. I've got some very thin wire, but it's not thin enough to get in there. Unusual problem. Usually DuPonts are frustratingly easy to get out. Look, I'm going to destroy the pin trying to do so. I think it's just a relatively fat crimp for some reason. What is a way I can force that out? I've got some very long pin headers, but they're just going to slide into it like they're supposed to. I've heard Discord pings in a lot of random videos. I'm sacrificing a random LED to try to push this out. To no avail. These tweezers might destroy something. We might have just really messed up this 3-pin header such. Oh, why did that one come out so easy? But this middle pin Does not want to. Anyone have any ideas? I mean, at this point, I think I'm just going to cut it off and replace it with another. Strange problem that I run into. So that's what I get for going with an unnecessarily bougie build. So yeah, I lifted up the tab already. It's like destroyed. I lifted up the tab, but it just would not come out. Sorry if you guys couldn't see that whole time. I'm just trying to cut away material to release this stupid pin or crimp. Okay, it's free. And we have extra DuPonts in there. So we need ground on the bottom, which is the pin that was having a hard time coming out previously. Goes in fine. We need signal in the middle. Have that turned sideways. I really dislike DuPont connectors. No, this one doesn't want to stay. Ugh. We'd be almost done with Stealthburner if I hadn't chosen this silly RGB. I really don't want to have to recrimp a DuPont, because again, they're the worst. That one's sticking in. Let me try the red to see if it is having issues too. Nope. Well, I don't feel like they should slide out that much. This one just completely slides out. Very strange. These two, the retaining clips aren't holding them in as much as I'd like. But the black wire is fine. It was the one that was having trouble getting out. I feel like the likelihood of these shimming out is not high, and it's just RGB, so if it happens, I can deal with it. See if I can tuck these under a bit. And then for our Nomi, we can get 5-volt in ground from the CANBus pass through, which I don't think will likely be used for any other thing. Okay, let's double check wiring. Ground is on the top for both of the fans, power on the bottom. Everything's pretty well labeled, so hopefully not a source of magic smoke later. And the cable links are pretty good to not protrude too much. Our jumper should be set correctly. Then we can move on to this step. So when we hold this guy with the hot end facing up. Oh, I forgot to take Steve's chat off. We need those M3x10s to pass through here and connect with our spacer like so. And then where's the last M3x10? There he goes. Really weird extrusion stuff happening where like some pass through fine, some screws pass through fine. This is like the same part. One it's a tight fit and one it's not. And this will go in this way. And into the two heat set insert holes. Those are intended to be tighter so it doesn't just fall off. Oh, okay. So you can remove it. Oh, that's a tight fit, but barely works. And then this goes here. And I think it's just long enough, Steve. Less than ideal. I don't know if that's going to cause interference and with the door. It's in there, but not perfect. I think the door should be a modified part. We need to put on our heatsink. What? Where? Just, oh, okay. The part that the motor was covering up. There's like a set of vias that I think are kind of thermal vias to pass heat out of the ground plane. And that's where I'm pressing that down onto. The motor goes here. That seems like way too much excess wire. I've also got the resistor on there already. It's covered up, but believe me that it's on there. The jumper for the resistor, it's not an actual resistor. And then I do think I overdid it. This is a bit excessively long. I don't really know how it's going to be routed, but it's possible. The heat shrink might cause some issues. I might redo this. Were we supposed to be doing all of this on the carriage already? I think we need to bring the printer back out. Put our chamfer tool back where it belongs. Side cutters. Flathead. Marker. Sacrificial LED. And printer frame. Okay. Light's not doing as much as it typically does. Go ahead. So yeah, I probably minced up the order of operations here a bit. Well, broke a nail. Can we get the lower attached and screwed in? You were just doing a final test fit, yeah. I'll take that. I can't get it out now though. That JSTPH is like, it's not a good place to grab it. I might need a wallet. Yeah, that's a tiny bit worrisome. I am going off the stock recommendation. If we were using this guy, I'm sure the cable links would be perfect and we would be going into the PT1000 instead of the regular thermistor port. I do believe I have these dips set to the correct position to use the regular TH0. I have seen some people use the extra thermistor here for a chamber. Is that right? I don't know if you can use both of those. Okay, are we back to tap? Let's see. I think that's on there correctly. Where are these M3 by 8s? Did I previously do those? What the heck just happened? Oh, sorry, I switched scenes. I was trying to put up the desktop to show the instructions, the step I'm on, but they're not working. Cruising through like with a like, it might drop in later. Thanks. Down under Maker. Have you streamed since the last stream I watched, the 2.4? I definitely have not received a notification. Okay, so we need two M3 by 8s here, I believe. Eight watching, only 7 likes. Thanks for the promotion. I'm not good at it. I feel like I'm doing something wrong or off. Looks like they don't have them in all the way. Is that somewhere else? No, that has to be that, right? Will you do a live series when you upgrade Trident V2 comes out? Yes, absolutely. Thanks for the like. Okay, I am struggling to. There's a lot of vowels in your handle. We're calling you pre for the stream. What am I missing here? My desktop display stopped working. Let me see if I can fix that really quickly. Shows the step I'm struggling to understand a little bit. I guess it would be ideal if I separated these two. This thermistor is a little bit stubborn. Oh my gosh. Tweezers won't do it either. Needle nose. Jeez. I can't get this JST connector out. Wow. The step I'm on in the instructions makes it seem like this sits down onto there, but that doesn't make any sense. Look at the side of it. There are two tabs that lock it if you can't get something in there. Yeah, the connectors don't like me. Oh wait, so there's a hole there. (180°). Why did my display stop working? We need to switch to my desktop scene. And I think that's working. Thank you for the donation. Or is that a super chat? And then if I switch back here. Okay. This is a step I'm looking at, Steve, that's causing me a little bit of confusion. I see these two M3x8 screws. Oh, I wasn't looking at these. I was looking at these. That explains it. Pre, do you have a Trident kit already built that you will be upgrading to R2? So this needs to go on here somehow, and then be screwed in. Well, I had it backwards for one thing. Okay. That makes so much more sense. I feel silly. This slots into there, and then there's an access hole to screw this in. Not sure why I found that confusing. Is that the 180 degrees you were talking about, Steve? I had it flipped around the wrong way. Oh, I go through multiple holes. What is this screw? I don't know why, but I'm finding this a bit odd and confusing. Like this screw is just sticking out of nowhere, it looks like. Did I miss a step somewhere else? Yepers. Sorry about that. Slow in the uptake today. But then here, is this a phantom screw? These two went in here. I got those done. And then this guy, I'm not understanding what is supposed to happen with that. It looks like it's sticking out of this hole. I had an R1, but had to sell it. I will wait for the R2 kit to come out. Cool. Which manufacturer kit are you looking to pick up? That's the cover screw. Oh. Okay. That fell out. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. That fell out while I was doing other things. This can now slide into place. Believe we are flat. It's just a remnant in the manual. Gotcha. Should I be back on the Stealthburner? We just did the equivalent of those two. That guy's in there, and we can tighten these down a scotch. And then our shroud can go on. Hopefully this header slots into the pins pretty well. That seems like a good fit. Then 3x25s, which I put away, I think. Maybe. Moved out of the way. By 25s up top. I'm a little nervous about that JST connector. I think I am gonna have to extend it by like a half a centimeter, like 5 millimeters. Long screws. Yeah, to my eye, this looks, the yellow on the front looks greenish compared to this bright blazing yellow right here. So that's a reason, if nothing else, to want to swap it out. What did I say these were, 50 or 40? They're 40. We need 50. There's 3 of those. Extend it by 25 millimeters or an inch and loop it around. Okay. I wonder if it would be worth it to just depin this guy, cut it at the length I want to extend it by, and then reuse these pretty good looking pH crimps so I don't have to crimp the pH again, because that was troublesome. Just getting one crimp around this jacket was really, really hard. Don't do that. I just had a really hard time pinning or crimping this. I need to tighten these down. I'm all open to suggestions though. Since you're using the Revo isn't a 104. Since you're using the Revo, it's just a 104 NT, so no need to plug it into the thermistor port. Man, it's a long screw. The 4-pin is, yes. So what I meant to say was take these out of this 4-pin. Since they're nicely crimped JST PHs, probably better than I'm going to be able to do, and then cut them and extend the wires with these. Yeah, just the terminals. I don't think I'm going to use this hotend for anything ever. Steve, blindfolded Trident build win. I'd be impressed. I wouldn't doubt it. You got to do an R2 update to the Trident, if I recall correctly. I watched the announcement stream on Discord. Plagueis Slim, hello, welcome to the stream. Hey, I'm not going to deal with plugging the thermistor back in. I will plug in the hot end. Keep it out of the way. I can. It's tight. Thanks for hopping in the stream, Plagueis. So I've got a little bit too much. I'm obviously going to cut these off. If you guys can even see that. But I've got a little bit too much of a bow out here of the... Where can I push this up through? This is a lot more closed off than I thought. It's over here. Instruction. Where's their hot end wire routed through? Is there a passage through the tap that I did not see? Maybe it can go sort of up here. Need that Lazy Susan build. Should have done that. Ugh, this is getting a little ugly. Not as pretty cable management as Steve built. Kind of wish I hadn't used this big, thick heat heat shrink. I'm kind of the mind I'm gonna be redoing this after I change up the thermistor. Maybe I shouldn't spend too much time trying to get everything tucked away. Yeah, this heat shrink tubing is very thick, making things a little bit more difficult than I would like. Okay, hopefully I haven't forgotten anything. Switching through all the documents. I think we're done with this, besides once we get to flashing. You have the X end stop cable, which goes in which one? Voron Tap goes in a vertical one across the top. Our tap has a 3-pin. No, our end stop has a 3-pin, sorry. Which page has end stop? That's in the vertical. Can only go in one orientation. And then there's somewhere there is a place to tie that down, right? Down here. Normally closed for an end stop. Then eventually I guess I'll use their funky little non-matching filament runout sensor. That will be plugged in here. And this runs down to tap. Maybe behind. Okay guys, I'm out. Have a great night. Happy birthday again. Thank you, Feder, for dropping in. Should be able to see you tomorrow for the Makera stream. Maybe it's meant to go down this way. Let's see if they have that in there. Instruction. They just have it going around. Their cable seems much shorter than mine. Their motor cable. I wish there was a cable tie down. I don't know what I did with that sensor. Half of me doesn't want to use it. Got way too short of a tube in it to start out with anyway. But this plug in here, go there. They have it bent around and pointing towards the back, but we'll see if I even want to use that. It'll pop out of the cable cover. We're somehow going to end up having to corral all of these. Just has the one tie down here. We'll get some more cable management later. We're not going to worry about the CAN cable. Okay, I think we are mostly done with the EBB, SBB. I want this to be yellow, blue. I guess I can just attach it for now. What's the hardware for this? M3 by 10, 3 by 8. From the front. I've chosen not to put the bed in for now because of all the twisting jiving. I kind of want it to be blue. For whatever reason. And then M3 by 10. 12. M3 by 10 socket head. Do I even have those? Well, 16. Those are all longer. I don't think I have those. What does the Stealthburner manual say to use there? Does the Trident manual say to use there? It doesn't. Somewhere it calls out what size screw to use to attach that arm. I'm getting manual dizzy. Does they say here? Oh, M320 and M320 I have. Yeah, it does need to be a fairly long screw. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do exactly what Steve said. Cut this at about 1 inch. Extend it from there. Use these with this connector. And then tuck the excess in somewhere that won't be seen. Okay, how does the actual door go on? Where did I put the door? So I did the door in 2 colors so that it will match up with the other. I'm gonna have to take the faceplate off in order to put this on. We're gonna use a Hodo for that. Clean this edge here. All of these PCB setups for Stealthburner are pretty nice to be able to attach the front shroud, detach and attach it pretty quickly. It's set to leave off the door. I don't think I caught when it's set to actually attach it. Yeah, that's why they have the longer Bowden tube in there, because the lever gets in the way. Whoop, we gotta be careful with that. Take this out. Kind of don't like these cables right next to that door, but I guess I won't be opening the door too frequently. Let's switch to manual. Trying to find a way to hold it that won't put any stress. Okay. And then we need to have this area free. And this will come up out of here. This just needs to get tucked away somewhere. And there's a spot for a zip tie on tap, which we'll use. Down here. Get it through. I was probably supposed to do this much earlier. This might be too fat of a zip tie. Just needed some coaxing. I need to make sure that the end stop will click. Not interfere. And then I was saying that these stick out a little bit too much to let the end stop engage. Side cutters. $12:37 on the East Coast. It's officially no longer my birthday. Thanks to everyone who did hop in during my birthday. Have this away for now. I'm just trying to see if this is actually going to be able to ever close. Time for bed. Happy N+1 day. Thank you, Steve. Thanks for hopping in. Thanks for the help and advice on things. Thanks, Plagueis. "42 years young today." I think it's currently the hotend cable that's interfering the most. A little bit of this. Gotta tuck him in. I might as well not spend too much time doing this because I'm gonna have to end up changing things around for the thermistor anyway. It'll be a little shovey into closet dory and hope it works, but I think we'll be able to get it. And then CAN cable, I'll have to pass up through here, through the gland, down through all of that cable management later. But for now, for at least the picture, we'll get the Stealthburner run back on. The post-stream picture. I would love it if they had these files. I do want to run this just to kind of show people what it's like and let them know if it's at all worth it to use. But I wish they had the files I could reprint. I like having a filament runout sensor. Also like having an unload button. Where are we at in the instructions? Let's go back to the main build notes. We're around a page 135-ish. Tap manual. $164 of the regular manual. Excuse me. Okay, electronics. We're going to do inverted electronics, which we will be able to keep once we update to R2. Get some unused stuff out of the way. I'm going to be putting this in a relatively tight spot that's going to be hard to pull it in and out of. So if I need to do some reflashing, minor hardware or electronic changes, it's going to be nice to be able to pop up the panel, move it out, move the bed all the way out, hopefully do some stuff, and then make the changes I need and put it back. So that's the plan. They have a little bit of a picture somewhere to show how they want things. So they want the electronics running forward and back with the two DIN rails. As a reminder to myself, I need to repin or extend the thermistor and then clean up all of the wiring for Stealthburner, and I think I can call it done after that. Screw came out of the rip. That's not good. So we need to go back to the manual and look at where it starts to say to put in the, we're not going to do the bottom panel obviously right now. We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 4 M5 T-nuts front and back. Let's see, it'll be one here. We need the gen rails to be rotated 90 degrees from what they say. And M5 by 16, which I happen to have out. No, button head. Ugh. And M5, not M3. We'll see how much stuff I might end up having to backtrack on for Stealthburner. Hopefully not too much. The spacing might end up being a little bit different with the inverted electronics mod. I don't think it'll be anything too serious. I think the layout and where things go will still be relatively the same. Tools everywhere. Nope, still not it. Ah. I keep them loose so I can move them around. Anyone in chat working on any projects? Printer builds or otherwise? I don't know if these are meant to pass all the way through to the other side or just slot in a bit. Currently designing an MMU that works for multiple printers. That's cool. So like Clipper based. Is it going to run off of just macros that you can use with almost any printer you want? It has multiple output modules that can cross over each other. Interesting. I still don't have any MMUs. Well, I have a MMU kit for the Prusa MK3S I have, but I haven't built it yet. Maybe that can be a future build stream goal. Get those first two sides done. Anything unique about your design, Renovic, compared to what's out there? Just like box turtle, the emu is another one. Emu. I guess besides the stuff you've already mentioned. So the inverted electronics will mount everything in the bay, but facing upwards, as opposed to upside down, where you have to flip the whole printer around. I imagine eventually I'll get to the point where I won't be fussing with the electronics very much. I'll be doing probably a fair few mods for a little while, but then once I get it to a spot that I'm relatively happy with, let's move this water very far away from everything. Come on. Uh, Multiple output modules means that you can route any filaments input into any of your printers, so you can have a lot of filament loaded and be able to send it to any of your printers. Okay, gotcha. That would be a very cool system. I've seen people who've got routes set up, like Bowden tube routes, from a centralized filament spot, but it's not automatic like you were saying. So that would be a very nice to have change. Do you know what I mean? They just have the filament route set up so that it can get from like a enclosure to any of their printers, but they have to manually pass it through. Constantly using the wrong driver. And this does not want to focus on the right spot. I think the PSU is going to be the main restrictive thing here in terms of placement of stuff and things. Three by 8 socket heads. I don't think we have that in the inverted mods. Yeah, there's no holes to secure the DIN rails. We're gonna skip these cable tie downs for a little while and start to mount some electronics. PSU main board. There's no pie. I've got a bin full of electronic stuff somewhere. And then again, let's look at their picture for the wiring. So we're going to kind of invert things so that it's kind of the same. Is my plan. So PSG would go here. We just need enough room to miss the motor. Did I mount the motors the wrong orientation? They have them pointed inward, but I don't really think it matters because it just goes through a cable channel. I wonder if we should put on the bottom panel. So that we can have something to mount the cable tracks to. Which will be pretty far along. I'm going to close out the tap manual and the Stealthburner manual. It's going to be down by the skirts when we're technically supposed to put this bottom panel on. Passed it already, did I? I think I did. I think I did. We're a little off script here, so I'm going to go with my gut and say that we do want to put on this bottom panel. If we are wrong, we will not acknowledge so. Just kidding. 250 is not too bad to flip around and manhandle. 300 would be tough, and the 350 would be very, very rough. Bottom panel. That's the back. This has a cutout. That's the mid panel. And this is the bottom. It has a cutout for the display. Yeah, so where's the front of the printer? Up there. Oh, this mounts to the skirts, so we would have to do the skirts. First in order to get this done. Do we want to do that? What would be a reason not to do that? I'm going to bring up that mod. Trident. Like electronics. Open. It doesn't look like we have a full set of instructions here. Let me get out the skirts and see how difficult it would be to get these on here. I know we need the AC inlet on at least anyways. That would be this guy. This is the back of the printer. We gotta make sure we don't interfere with this somehow. Which might be tough because this mod is made to go side to side and not block the fans. Is there a way to... I could just move it really, really far inside. We're limited that way. How are we gonna do this? By default, the mod is meant to run side by side, or side to side. If I flip-flop these, they would create a C and not end up interfering with this. I think. We're gonna try that. I don't know if it even really needs to be built with the electronics and the orientation. I'm running it front to back because that's what the FORMBOT guide says to do. And I was gonna keep the electronics similarly run and set up. In their guide, their wiring overview, they have it running. So that's the display. That's the front of the printer. They have it running front to back. I don't know that it matters really. Honestly, with their kit, the electronics are pretty minimal. There's the PSU, distribution block, SSR, and the board. Yeah, it could be due to cable lengths. They do have some pretty seemingly exacting cable. I'm using the wrong size driver to undo this, but it's working, so I don't care. Basically, the issue is that with this mounted right here, front to back, it would block the AC inlet. But if I flip it around, it won't block the AC inlet. Because that same C, which is meant to help not block the fans, would do the same. We're gonna run with it. I can change it, you know, it's not crazy super permanent one shot only. But yeah, like if their Z cable lengths are super specific to the electronics being or the AB motor being a certain way, then I'm going to try to follow that. And I lost one of those M5 16s. So far the mic is holding out. We'll see if I have to switch. Don't plan on doing 5 hours tonight. But focus. So when they were switched around, this would end up blocking right here. But this way it doesn't seem to block, so we're going to go with that. I'd like to see Voron switch to backpack electronics. Seems way easier to work on than stock. Guess might not become an issue. Yeah. I guess some of the thought is to keep the weight low, or the center of gravity low. I don't know though. I don't know that that's too much of a concern either. Let me keep the EBB stuff open. Let's go back to the spots in the manual where they talk about running the skirts. We need M3 T-nets for this and M5 T-nets in some spots. It does seem a little arbitrary sometimes. When did they have us do the AC inlet? Must be during the electronics stuff. Kind of glad we don't have to worry about cable change really too much. AC inlet, where are you? Okay. M3 by 8, so we need 2 M3 T-nuts here. And then M3 by 8 socket head screws. Do they want us to put the AC inlets in before we do this step? Yes, they do. These are different form factor ones than the ones that they have in the manual. The hole on the bottom. Do we want on to be up or down? Well, they have these guys facing up right now, so we'll follow that. And then this guy will require some screws. M3x10 flathead, which might be the only use of these. That's a strange screw size that I don't recall seeing. 3x6 flathead. Well, I don't have heat set inserts in there. Dang it. We've got M3x12 flathead. I don't see M3x10. Grab our heated insert. I don't have a ton of space. We're gonna get precarious with this. This is a little silly, but we're gonna do it. Find some power. With the skirts on, it'll start to look a lot more like a printer, at least. Heating up. When I was prepping, I figured the skirts were so far along that I didn't even worry about putting heat sets in them. There's one on the top. That seems like so far away. That's a problem for later, Brian. It was now, Brian. We still need to put yeah, I don't see M3x10 flatheads. Maybe they have a note about it in their instruction for lots of steps to the Nevermore later. They don't have a bomb anywhere either. Build notes. Let me search for FHCS. Flat? Nope. We're just going to use the M3x12s. They're a little long, it doesn't matter. And what did I do with it? It's staring me in the face somewhere. If it was a snake, it would have bit me. Like Blue's Clues, do you see the AC inlet? Seriously, where did I put it? So I actually have two slightly different variations of the skirts. Some of them I did in a more typical setup where I added the backer and then did hexagon infill. And then I found Thunder Keys had this version where it's just built into the model. So I printed those for some. I guess screen might become an issue. You mean the screen? The LCD screen that's included in this? Man, I can misplace something so easily. I don't remember setting it down. Well, here it is. In random box by the hardware. Oh, backpack electronics. Gotcha. We are screwing the AC inlet to the skirt. I believe this is a filtered one. A little bit different than some of the others I've used in the past. That's too large. Okay, now you can go on here. And we need those M3x8 pipette screws. And that's going to require a ball head. Yep. Come on. I'm gonna have to ream these holes out. They're a little tight. And then the Keystone would be on the other side. Those may not need to be flipped around, but I might do it later just to be symmetrical. But we need one heat set insert for him. Gonna go for about another 15 or 20 minutes, see how far we can get into the electronics in that time. We're close to what I predicted in the thumbnail. I've been taking the CAD model and turning off the parts that aren't relevant to the stream, if that makes sense, to kind of show the progress in the thumbnail. It's not flush. And then we need our 2 more M3s. Hello, welcome back, Down Under Maker. We are going a little off script right now, trying to, that's another screw down, figure out the inverted electronics. There's not really a full manual or even a guide for them. It's just a GitHub repo with some pictures. Probably all that's needed, but we're already split between like 4 different versions of the manual, or 4 different manuals. I figured it would be good to get some of the skirts on so that I have something to mount the bottom panel to, because that's going to be the only place that we can mount any cable management tracks later. I believe that is where those go. We got the AC inlet done. And if we go back down to the skirts area, I'm not going to deal with all the fans and the side skirts and stuff. There's a sensor one with the Voron logo. which is this guy that doesn't need a heat set insert. Spacing on these is not ideal. We need 2 more M3. I've got more gaps than a Tesla. Bigger gaps than a Tesla. That doesn't seem right, does it? I mean, I can pull these out. It's like a centimeter on each side. More uneven gaps in a Tesla is a hard thing to achieve. If we're set up to get some good electronics work done next stream, I'll be pretty happy. After the base electronics are done, I can actually reach that guy, but I kind of don't want to. Then I think we can double back and work on the bed, which I skipped because I didn't want to. My finger's so big, these angles so small. I didn't want to have to be flipping the printer around and turning it with the bed in it any more than I need to. How are you going any which way but every which way but the one I want you to? I'm pretty sure, I mean, I have the smallest version of the printer, which is a 250. So it's not like I could have printed out something that was accidentally too small on one of the pieces. Somehow when I screw this in, it's up walking the nut away. What in the heck? Bad T-nut, maybe? Oh, or maybe I'm just getting a little sleepy. I'll adjust the camera so you can see how gappy this is in a second. Or try to at least. That don't seem right. I mean, I can loosen these and move them out to make up a little bit of it. It is the back of the printer, so if the front ones are at all better, I mean, it's still much more gap than I would like. Why does it look like I don't have all the skirts? These will be the front two. They do need heat set inserts. Wait. Printed the same side twice. I think I was supposed to mirror this piece. Can't do that. So I've got some more printing to do. I don't think I have any more boxes. Yeah, so that's my biggest printing or parts mistake so far. I'll go ahead and heat set, insert this guy, and mount him. Reheat. Oh, it completely turned off. Very much wishing I had a lazy Susan at the moment. Come on. Uh-oh. Camera freeze? What can I do about that? People aren't very chatty today. Not sure how many folks are still in the chat. My camera setup is not currently working. Activate. Show hide. When in doubt, switch it to something and then switch it back. Yeah, you quit on me. What's the problem with that? Did you guys hear any Windows ding dings? Oh, bumping into everything. Camera's not coming back. What can we do? We have a backup. Which is that guy. Only got 3 watching, so I think it's just me down under Maker in the chat. Yeah. Working on CAD right now. I just wanted to get this last skirt mounted. And I guess since my camera's decided to stop working, you can call that. That's really strange. It's not coming back. Just gonna go with this camera until we decide to wrap stuff up. Let's just get rid of this heat set insert tool. It's just causing many problems. It's still hot. On the front middle, we'll end up having the Victory Tech display. We'll see if that has any problems with the gaps, but maybe it won't be as noticeable. School pickup time. See you later. Thanks for stopping in. Gosh. Somehow tossed the screw in completely upside down. By accident. Could not do that again if I tried. So the last time I streamed, Spotify decided to go from my backing tracks playlist to a bunch of random music that was not royalty free. So I had to spend several hours using their tool to erase the music. It's not like the stream gets a ton of views. That I'm worried about, like, oh, I'm gonna miss out on all that sweet cash or anything, but it's just frustrating. Just the whole way the way the system is set up. It'd be like 3-hour long stream. 2-minute piece of music plays low so that you can barely even hear it. We're gonna take all the money for the stream. Do you really like that this plastic peels so easily? This will go in the same direction as the display. We have some clips somewhere that will clip it down. Is that in the electronics? That's going to require taking both sides off, but all right, I think we will call it there. Mic check. Okay, still working. I need to print out the rest of the skirts. I've got 2 of the side skirts. We need 2 more, and that's why I'm feeling like I have another box somewhere, because it doesn't seem likely that I only printed out 2 of those. I need to print out this backside, which I printed the same piece twice on, instead of having the opposite side. I need to do the thermistor for the EBB board, or SBB, whatever it's called. I need to find these clips. Are these hinges? Is it supposed to be these hinges that do it? No, because these go into extrusion. Some other piece. Just these? Yeah, it's these. So we're gonna have to do VHB tape on this. Get these panels on there, and then when I flip things back over, we'll be able to put the cable management tracks on the bottom side of this. and then actually be able to do the cable management when we do the electronics. Stuff falling all over the place. Let's flip the printer right side back up. Still more skirts falling off. And I'm not sure why I've got a switcher that my 3 main HDMI cameras go into, and that just decided to not be a USB device anymore. But luckily we had the DJI action cam over here that I wanted to have for like a wider angle as a little bit of a backup. But yeah, we are trucking along. We have Stealthburner with Nomi. We've got a rainbow barf RGB in the front diffuser, 2 regular NeoPixels in the bottom. We've got the SBB 2209 CAN board almost completely done. The only thing I need to do is extend the thermistor wire off of the Voron Revo. It's technically long enough, but kind of pokes out in a way that won't allow the door to close. So if I make it longer, I can probably take those 2 cables and make them 90 degrees so that they won't interfere. A little bit more cable management to be able to actually close down this thing. I'm gonna maybe use this filament runout sensor that comes in their kit. I hate that it's red, so maybe I'll be able to find the models for this and be able to use that instead. Hopefully it works. I've seen a couple people who've done it on the 2.4, and then I think we'll backtrack and go to the bed. We'll get into the electronics and basically get it to a running state, I think, in the next stream or 2. Trying to think of anything else. Nope, I'm gonna have to debug some stuff for the stream, figure out why the camera stopped working. But thank you to everybody who stopped in for the stream. I do intend on eventually upgrading this to an R2, like I said, but we're gonna build it kind of as the kit came initially first. There's probably some considerations, especially, you know, with the custom parts that they have, that we need to make sure that we're gonna have an option for. Specifically, I know there's like a specific CANBus module that comes out here, and I don't know how R2 is gonna handle that. So we need to do some thinking on that and make some considerations. Let's see if there's anything else I can think of before we start streaming. I'll have a video coming up this weekend for the Percorni Engineering Hyper Sim Racing Wheel guide that I've been putting together. So this is going to be on how to flash the board. It's actually pretty similar to how you flash a STM32 for Clipper. So that'll be kind of a little bit of a crossover. If you're interested in sim racing and I think that wheel is cool, let me know. But thanks again to everyone who tuned in. I will try to announce it if I can a little bit early when I plan on streaming next, but it's kind of just whenever I have time. So I just don't want anything to stop me from building, and I want to stream everything I build. So I just kind of hop on whenever I can. Might be a little frustrating for folks who want to follow along, but sorry, I don't have a set streaming time. That's it. I think I will see you guys in the next stream. Peace out.